Having a plan for achieving your goals and a vision for your future is crucial to developing your personal and professional life into something you can be proud of. And you want to see growth in your professional life, so make sure your personal life complements it. You won't feel powerful in your career if you don't feel understood, aligned, and at peace when you're away from work. Align your goals in both avenues, and you will get to where you're trying to go. You're smart, you're motivated, you want to do something big. You're on the verge of being a young boss, and we're going to help you get there. I'm your host, Isabel Garino, and welcome to the Young Boss Podcast, where youth is your power. I want to introduce you to a concept. What if you made a life-centered vision for your business, a life map, and a life vision that complements who you are at home and who you are at the office? Today, we're going to talk about the importance of vision setting. You can't expect to go anywhere if you don't know where you're trying to go. However, before we start pumping out goals and ideas for business, start small. Start with your personal life and your personal goals. You got to walk before you run, you know? If you dive headfirst into your aspirations for your careers and leave your personal life behind, the platform that you're standing on will crumble to pieces. You cannot ignore the obligations and needs of your personal life and let your business take over your every thought and action. You will fall flat on your face, and babe, it won't feel good. Start by creating your dream life and write it down. Don't think about work. Think about what you want as if you didn't have to worry about anyone but you. List out what your perfect week would look like. Would it be reading all night and sleeping all day? Would you get in that yoga class or visiting the coffee shop or meditate on the beach every day? Would you be done with all of your obligations by noon so that you could get home and relax for the rest of the day? What would that perfect personal schedule look like for you? At the end of the day, we have to look within ourselves to see what we truly desire in our quiet moments, when it's just us in our thoughts, or when we're with our family, partners, or friends. Don't think about money. Don't think about budget. Move those dreamy dollar signs out of the way and make your dream schedule. Can you see it? You have to start by determining what you need as a human. Some people need 3 hours to meditate and be alone in the morning to feel good, while some other people like to jump right out of bed and sprint into action. I don't know how they do it, but they do. You have to recognize that what works for you is sacred. You are unique. There is no other you. Your needs will be different from everyone else. The schedule starts with what you require and then move on to what you desire. For me, that looked like sleeping until 7 a.m. and getting a workout in first thing, walking my dog, and spending time in nature in the afternoon. Adding self-care into my weekly routine and making time for friends, travel, family, and reading books. It looked very different from what my current life schedule looked like. Shocker, right? If your dream life doesn't look like your current life, your schedule transformation will provide a night and day difference. The potential for positive improvement is endless. To see the change, you have to be the change. You can change your daily routine from something you drag yourself out of bed to do to something that you can't wait to do every single day. Truly, I did this and it worked for me, so I'm telling you it's gonna work if you just follow the steps. And the next step is to integrate your work commitments into that new daily agenda. So you go back through your ideal personal schedule and add in when you would be willing to work. For me, that was basically between 10 and 2 for meetings, webinars, whatever they needed me for. I really didn't want to start before 9:30 a.m. and I really didn't want to take anything after 4 p.m. And that changed everything. Previously, I was working from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day, and on the weekends from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's if I wasn't traveling for work or at an event for work. If I sat back and looked at what I created, I was in awe. I was like, damn, if this could really be my life, how would things change? Well, after conversations with my team, my family, my partner, I had to explain the vision for myself. And I committed to keeping up with the duties, to be the face of our business and to do all of the engagements they booked me for. But I promised to get it done within the timeframes that I had allotted. And magically, I was able to do it. It made me ask myself, what was I doing for those 14 hours a day? God only knows. Doing this made me rely on my team more. It made me force myself to trust them and force myself to take much needed breaks. My relationship with my friends strengthened. I dove deep into therapy, nature, and self-care. All of these things changed my life during the following years, and crafting my business vision off of my life vision was the game changer. It was the starting point. It allowed me to show up more in my meetings and in my conferences. I was able to be completely present because I wasn't overwhelmed or coming straight from something else. It gave me the respite I needed to continue with longevity. Making this new schedule gave me the freedom to thrive in both my professional and personal life. I had to trust my team and understand that I could create a daily schedule that eased how I felt at home and how I felt at the office. I wasn't defined by my personal commitments, nor was I defined by my professional commitments. That separation and collaboration was absolutely beautiful. The balance was beautiful. Hey, it's Isabel. Thanks for listening to the Young Boss podcast. I recently wrote a book called Young Boss, and it's filled with top tips I've learned over the years on how to survive and thrive in business. Pre-order your copy now by heading to the link in the podcast description. Now, back to the show. In order to make this switch, though, you have to communicate. Speak to your stakeholders, such as your team, family, and partners. Let them know how this new schedule will nourish you and how the company will excel if you're able to implement this new and improved life plan. They have to have buy-in. Address the concerns that they may have. For example, explain that you're going to reserve X amount of time for meetings and X amount of time for calls or whatever your day consists of, that you have a game plan, and lay it out on the table so everyone can understand, digest, and be on board with your new vision. Also, explaining how these timeframes can improve your relationship with yourself, your family, and your friends, and your partners will help them quickly adjust. They'll know when you're ready to show up and show out for them and them alone. With undivided attention, stuff gets done. It may be difficult at first. In fact, likely it will be, right? But change is never easy. A sapling has to change if it hopes to grow into a tree. But what defines this process? You know, when I had to take this on and I really was like, this is not what I want my life to look like. I'm overworked. I'm going crazy. This is all that life is about these days is work, work, work. And I stopped and I made my personal life goals and I set out my schedule for what I wanted to be doing, working out and hanging out with people and, spending this time. And then I added work back in. All of a sudden I was nervous. I was like, how am I going to get everything done? But as soon as I could prove to myself that I could get it done, and actually when I got that buy-in from my coworkers and my team and my partner, then they all decided to step up and say, we totally get it. We don't want you to burn out. So how can we take stuff on to make it easier for you? And I had to learn to trust them and give things to them that I probably shouldn't have been doing anyways. But until you take the time to actually go through this and make that change and commit to that change and communicate it, they're not going to know what you want and need. They're not going to necessarily be looking for signs that you're overworked. They're not going to be looking for burnout in you. You may be looking for burnout in them as the boss, but they might not be noticing when you're tipping over that, line. And so it's important to communicate. And really, once I changed this, everything changed. I started being happier, healthier, more smiley. In my meetings, I was showing up. I was able to be empathetic and understanding. And I was catching on to things that I wasn't necessarily catching before. And also I was trusting my team so they felt empowered and motivated, to the point that then I said, hey, you guys all need to go through this. Let's all go through this. Now, you may be thinking, Isabel, that sounds great, but how the hell do I even start this process? What if I start and I can't keep going? I'm scared to change, or the plan changes halfway through. Well, that's what I'm here for. And that's why we're talking about this today. Start with self-reflection to identify personal desires and priorities. Do you desire more time off with your partner, your kids, doing your hobbies, practicing self-care? Start with what you need. Then consider what brings joy, fulfillment, and balance to your life. If you want to add something in your personal life vision that seems unreasonable, don't throw the idea out, right? In fact, never throw ideas out. Pro tip. Like I mentioned, this change will take time. And as you adapt your everyday routine to this new and improved routine, those unattainable activities, practices, and concepts that you didn't think would fit into your personal schedule, well, now they can. Like all good things, you have to give it time to set in and take effect. For example, many people want to get up early every morning and get a workout in, but they say they can't get up because they're always up so late working. And so they're tired and they need to sleep in. Like we talked about earlier, if you make time frames for your career and give yourself time to rest and recharge for the next day and get into the routine of it, you can make anything happen on any given day. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Positive self-talk, positive manifestation, positive perspective, right? These are vital to create this change. In the long run, you'll look back at where you were and you won't believe how far you've come. Be creative and open-minded when developing your vision. You owe it to yourself. It's kind of like being an Imagineer at Disney, right? They come up with these crazy ideas and their rule in that room is don't shut anything down. Tell yourself that, because as soon as you start writing what you want, personally, I want to become a pilot. Your brain is going to say, you don't have the time, you don't have the money. When would you do this? Stop. Stop. Don't shut yourself down. Tom Hadley said, be open-minded so you can always see the other side of the coin. Write those things down. Don't kill the dreams. Let them live there and decide. Maybe it's not that you're signing up for a 1,300-hour course. Maybe it's that you're doing one lesson a week, one lesson a month, right? Allow yourself to envision the new life you'll make for yourself. That's got to be step one, and no shooting down your ideas. Implementing this vision into your daily life may be difficult, but patience and kindness is key here. Start with what seems easiest. Set the boundaries in your professional life for what times you're willing to work. And if you don't completely transform your life away, but you begin to establish small changes from the vision, you're doing it. I cannot stress it enough. Be patient and be kind with yourself. Change is hard. Now, as your vision adapts and becomes reality, as you're doing exactly what you planned on doing and allowing the personal and professional ideals to merge and come to life, you may need to look back and tweak it every once in a while. Your life will change, your priorities will change in both professional and personal areas. It's good to reflect and analyze your vision so that you make sure it aligns with what you're trying to achieve. If you're focused on building your family, maybe you should lower your workload at the office for a little. If you're about to make a big jump with a product, maybe you should take more time to hone your skills in your free time and ask for more support from your friends and family. A good way to reflect on usefulness and applicability of your vision is asking an outside source. For example, ask your partner if they've noticed any shift in you, if you've emitted a dullness spiritually, emotionally, physically, or ask your team if they've noticed any weakness in your enthusiasm, in stress management, in productivity, and creativity. Those vulnerable moments will share a lot, and often getting outside voices can be great help. But remember, this vision is yours at the end of the day. So once things have shifted in life for you, sit down, meditate, reflect, and observe what is really at the forefront of your mind. What do you desire in those coming months, and what do you want more of in your times of peace at home? Your vision will change, and that is okay. Your vision should always be developing, so you're constantly feeding your needs, your hopes, your aspirations, and your joys. Embrace it just like you did when you first took control of your personal life vision. The life plan you created 6 months ago to get you to point B worked, and now you're there. And now you can change your actions to get you to point C. That's what's so beautiful and important in creating a plan, formulating the vision, and sticking to it. Stuff gets done. We've talked about change all throughout this episode. So if you've learned anything, change is important. It's necessary and inevitable. Change will happen with or without you, in favor or not in favor of you. It can be scary, but simply put, that's life. Lots of things are scary. Change is what will make your product blow the competitors out of the water when you couldn't even get an ad to grab anyone's attention before. Change is what will make your stress-induced acne turn into clear skin from the new allotted time you created for your skincare and self-care. Change is good. Make the change, make the vision, and apply it to your life. You'll thank me later, I promise. I learned this idea from one of my mastermind friends, Sean McCloskey, and when he taught this to me and how to make a vision like we talked about today, it changed everything for me. Truly, I felt like I got my life back. And so I try to talk to this with as many entrepreneurs as I can. And today I'm happy we got to talk about the importance of making a vision for yourself, making a vision that nourishes you professionally and personally so that we can show up and show out in all aspects of our lives. We talked about how it's important to start with your personal vision and implement your career so that you have a solid foundation that you can always rely on at home. Finally, we talked about how you can make this a reality by starting small, taking baby steps, and implementing your new schedule into your life, and how it's okay to change your vision and realign yourself so you can always make sure that you're pointed at what you want most. You are powerful and you're a being of change. Embrace it, baby, and make the change for the better. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Young Boss Podcast with me, Isabel Garino. Be sure to like, share, and follow on Instagram and TikTok, and let me know, do you have a vision plan for your life? Remember, youth is your power.